Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Foundations of Rome. Foundations of Rome is brought to you by Arcane Wonders. It's for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, and games range anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. Foundations of Rome is all about city building and puts you into the role of an architect competing to own land and build magnificent structures, fountains, foundries, and more. Your ultimate goal is to increase your renown and gain glory for yourself and, of course, the Empire. The base game features 96 amazingly detailed miniatures. Foundations of Rome is a testament to the glory of Rome that you can bring to your tabletop. And Foundations is the next and biggest game to date in the Dice Tower Essential line. On a player's turn, they select from purchasing a new lot, building a new building in the shared city of Rome, or collecting income. Players collect glory points at the end of each round based on the population and commerce they have brought to the city, as well as gaining glory for civic buildings that score not only based on their own buildings, but those of their opponents. All right, let's jump to the table and take a closer look. All right, so just a quick look at setup. One of the big things you'll notice is that this grid, this is the overall city. And this is where we'll be placing your buildings along with your fellow players to build out the city of Rome. But based on the player count will determine how much of this area or how much of this board you use. So you have the 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player, but the red outer edge for the ultimate full-size board is for the special 5th player expansion. Along with the city board, there's also the victory point tracker and population tracker that you'll put to the side. And you have the deeds for sale. This is where you'll keep the cards that you'll be purchasing in order to acquire lots within the city of Rome so you can place your buildings. Each player is also going to receive their own player board, which is recessed to hold all these magnificent 3D buildings, which are super cool, I have to say. And there's 3 different types of buildings. You've got residential buildings, you've got commercial buildings, and you have municipal building types. And each player is going to receive 10 ownership tokens in their player color, along with their starting gold. Now, if you're the start player, you're going to receive less gold than all your fellow players because they're at a disadvantage, so they get extra gold to start. Players will take 2 of their ownership tokens and place them on the victory point tracker and the population tracker. Now, each player is going to receive 6 cards, 6 deed cards. These are for the different lots out in the city. You're going to take those 6 cards, and it's not a mystery. You're going to have these displayed for everyone to see in your player area, but you're going to be placing your ownership tokens in the corresponding spots, leaving you with 2 tokens left over in your player area. Now, the rest of the deed cards are going to be shuffled up and equally distributed between round 1, 2, and 3, and you'll populate the first 6 cards at the bottom of the deed tracker or deeds for sale board. And then you're ready to start the game. So each game consists of 3 rounds, and those rounds are divided into the different deed cards. Really, you're running through each of those decks, and at the end, you're going to total points from each of the different rounds. But on your turn, you have 3 possible actions, the first one being take income. Now remember, at the setup, we talked about how you have 3 different types of buildings: residential, commercial, and municipal. Well, commercial comes into play here if you're collecting income. You're going to petition Romulus. You're going to get 5 gold just from the petition. But if you have commercial buildings out in the city of Rome, each of those has a point value on the top of the buildings. You'll collect that many coins, again, if it's a commercial building. The next possible action you might perform in your turn is buying a deed. Now, you can only do this if you actually have ownership tokens available. So if you do have a token, then you can go look at the different deeds available. They correspond again to the spots in the city, and you're trying to cluster them, right, so you can build buildings. Now, again, each of these deeds, I should say, has a number value or a coin value associated with them. You'll pay that cost and buy that card. Then the cards shift down and a new card comes into its space from the current round. Then you'll place that ownership token in the particular lot in the city of Rome. And your final possible action that you can perform in your turn is construct a building. Now, you're looking for lots, configurations of lots, and they have to match the building's shapes and sizes. So if your lots all do cluster and match that size, you can build any building you want. You'll be taking those ownership tokens off and putting them in your supply and placing the building. Now, if you already have buildings out there and you have additional lots next to the building that might allow you to place a larger building, then you can replace a current building that you have as long as it's larger. So each round of the game will go on like that until you run through a deck of cards. Each player can perform one of those 3 actions on their turn. Turns can move really fast in this game. And then at the end of the round, you're going to total up points. So let's take a closer look at in-round scoring. So the first thing we're doing is taking a look at residential buildings. Your population. You're going to add that to the population track, and you're going to get victory points for that population as well. But the player who has the most population is going to get bonus points on each of the individual rounds. And then you award points for all your municipal buildings. And this might be my favorite part of scoring, because this is where you can gather points from other people's buildings. And so how does that work? So based on your particular municipal building will determine what types of points you can get. It might be related to every building that has citizens adjacent to yours will give you points, or commercial, or it might be a generic building type. So for any of those things that are adjacent to your municipal building, it's going to give you points. But each of those municipal buildings will have an icon and number associated with them, so you know what you're going to be looking for as you build out the city. And then for all your commercial buildings, you're going to take income. Just like the take income action, you're going to look at the top of those buildings and collect that income. Now, for that third and final round, you're going to calculate victory points instead. And so the game will go like this round after round until you've hit that final round and you calculate points, and whoever has the most victory is going to be the ultimate builder of Rome. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview, and everything you've seen here has been in prototype form. So keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, with that said, there's a lot of things I like about this game. These buildings, these miniatures are super amazingly cool. But really, what it comes down to is that Emerson is one of my favorite designers. And the thing he does with games that's so incredible is that on the surface, it seems like this super simple game, but as you dive into it and as you play it more, suddenly there's these aha moments. Look what I can do. And the strategies evolve and you really start to get a feel for the game. I love that it's super simple to teach, yet there's a lot of complexity in how you build out your city and how you gather points in those particular rounds and how you plan that out. Just a lot of really great things going for this game. But folks, ultimately, if this looks like a game that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando, in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.